All right, let's see. Whew, okay, we're live. Oh my gosh, I feel like absolute utter crap. Oh my god. Today is gonna be rough, you guys. So, oh my goodness. I think I am having a serious anxiety issue today. So, bear with me, and that is one reason why I'm here. Because I feel like absolute crap, and so I just wanted to get on here, and maybe that might help calm me mentally. I don't know. Okay, so here's, I can't stand this. I don't know if anybody else has this issue when they wear a tank top, but my bra straps always show. Hi, Charlie. I feel so ill today, like I can't even explain it. I woke up, I don't know, probably around, it was around 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning, and I just felt this, God, my hair is so freaked out. I felt super ill. Like I got up, not sick in the sense of like, you know, like flu sick or whatnot, just like I woke up feeling like I was panicking, which I've only ever had one full-on panic attack in my entire life. In 40 years of being in existence. Hi, Kelly. And that was like terrifying to have that. But right now, I feel very sick. Like I woke up feeling very overwhelmed, and I said, you know, just take the morning. I've been up since like 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. It is now like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. Yosef. Oh, thank you so much, Yosef. Yosef says, here's something, I know it's not much, but it's thought that counts. Get better soon, lots of prayers and love. Thank you so much, Yosef. That, like, oh, I know, I look really pale. I don't feel good. Like, I really don't feel good. But here's the thing. If you've been watching for years, you know me. Even when I'm feeling absolutely like crap, stuff has to get done, right? Like, you still have to keep going. I kind of learned that as a kid. Even when I was absolutely ill, I would still get up and go to school. Unless, like, the one time that I didn't go to school, or 2 times actually, it was 2 times in my childhood. I know, right? There was 2 times in my childhood where, but see, I'm not exposed to anybody. I'm here at home. So it would make sense if I caught something from like somebody. I think this is just strictly stress related, with everything that's going on. But 2 times as a kid, don't forget to breathe. Sounds really obvious, but when we panic, we forget to breathe. Yeah, exactly. So I've been all morning doing that, trying to calm myself. But like I said, 2 times as a kid. One, I had a really nasty case of pneumonia. I went to school the first like 2 days with it, and then it got very, very clear that it was something more serious, and I missed 2 days of school. And the second time was when I was almost 14, and I had like my seasonal really nasty coughing fits, and I got so sick. My mom ended up having to take me to the hospital, and I think I missed, probably, from what I can recall, almost a week of school, because it was so severe that year. I could not quit coughing. I was like, I wasn't able to breathe correctly. I was constantly like in a full state of dizziness because I wasn't like getting the oxygen that I needed. Know that now, didn't realize that then, but was in like sheer panic from not being able to breathe. But today I woke up feeling very overwhelmed. But my cousin last night was amazing, okay? And I'm gonna cry. So we did yeah, I know, and it's all right, Kelly. like I said, I'm not crying out of sadness. I'm crying out of like sheer love of my cousin. I love him so much. I babysat him when he was a baby. He's only a year and a half older than Taylor, so he holds like a serious special spot for me. Oh yeah. So, I know. I know that. So between losing Penny last week, then finding out my uncle is gone, then losing our house, then my former big boss, who was like the most amazing human, died on Wednesday. So, like, and I'm talking about my boss that I just had, like, the job that I just left, who was the most amazing human, who even called and checked on my daughter when she was in hospital, who called to check on me several times since I have been not working with them. He wanted to make sure I was doing okay because I wasn't really doing well when I left the job. Like in November when I finally had to leave work due to being seriously ill. This man was the most caring human. And for a boss to come in, for a district manager to come in, he would come in and he would actually get on the line and work with us. He would be right there taking phone calls. He'd be right there helping take orders. Like, this was a man who loved the industry he was in and his employees. And to find out that on Wednesday he passed away doing his job. Like, he was taking product from this store to the other store. And in doing that, he got to the other store and he had a heart attack in the freaking parking lot of the other store. And I'm just like, what the heck? So this last week has been absolute hell because as of yesterday, or Tuesday, as of Tuesday, it's only been a week since we found out we're losing our house. And then, you know, so there's a lot still to do. As you can see, we haven't even started on the inside of this house to break everything down. I mean, over the past couple months, we have been slowly weeding things down to make ready for us to use the RV, right? So I said I wanted as little as possible going into storage. But it's just been a really, like, we didn't expect to get this swift kick in the butt, which I don't mind that part as much as the, like, the loss of so many people this week has just been overwhelming. And my cousin last night, he ended up adopting Rainy, one of the puppies. So both puppies now are officially in their forever homes, if anybody's wondering. And I don't care about anybody's opinions, by the way. And so I'm going to put that out there right now. When we got Penny with the assumption that, one, she was going to be healthy. These things show us how to be grateful. We need to be for just the little things. All you can do is take one day at a time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Charlie. Sorry, my nose is running real bad. But anyway, so as everybody knows, when we got Penny, we know we didn't have much time left with Tonks, right? Like, we know that, and I know all of you love Tonks. Like, he is part of everybody's family. He is literally like my baby. But I also know that his time is coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just know he's extremely arthritic. There's days where it doesn't seem like that. Like, there's days where he has really good days. And then there's days like yesterday where he really, really struggled getting up and down from laying down, trying to lay himself down. His legs would shake real violently as he tried to lay himself down. That just shows, like, where the age is coming in. So I know that I don't have much time with Tonks. So when we got Penny, we wanted them, like, one, to get Penny healthy and help her get past, like, the abuse she was enduring. And then we wanted to be able to have her and have her integrated into the family and part of everything before we lost Tonks. But that, as you guys know, didn't happen because Penny didn't make it. The craziest part was we ended up taking the puppies in 3 weeks before Penny passed. And one of the things that I know that kind of motivated Penny was the little white puppy that we ended up dubbing Aspen. And her and Aspen, like, were just bonded from get-go. Hi, Lisa. And so I was talking with my cousin last night, and he came over because he was the one that I thought of first because they lost their pup a little while ago. And he'd been looking for another pup. And he's got an amazing job. His woman is absolutely amazing. I love Clara beyond the moon. And she's got 2 amazing kids. And I ended up messaging him and I said, look, you know, we've been going through people online trying to decide whether or not these people are going to be a good fit for these puppies. I said, but you know what? I know you're looking for a puppy. Do you want to come over and decide if you want one of these puppies? And he about lost it. Just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. He's like, absolutely. I really love that little brown one. So he came over last night and we tried to put both the puppies out on the floor, and Aspen, the one that we dumped, Aspen, immediately came right back to me, started crying like she was panicking, and I picked her up and she did her little hug thing where she like put her paws around my neck and like buried her head in my neck. And Clara goes, oh my God, that puppy is absolutely attached to you. She goes, you can't give that puppy up. And I said, well, you know, with everything going on, we may not be able to have her in the RV. She goes, weren't you going to already have 2 big dogs in the RV anyway with Penny? And she was like, and I know you lost Penny. And I said, yeah, I mean, that was the intent, was to have Penny and Tonks with us for as long as Tonks was with us. And so she went ahead and picked up Aspen and tried to like love on her, and Aspen was squealing and trying to get away from her. While the whole time Rainy is just running around playing and stuff. And so I picked up Aspen again, and she just kind of buried herself in me. Didn't want me to put her down. Didn't want anything to do with anybody. And so I sat down with her, just trying to get her to like interact and play. And finally she started to. But they made the decision last night to take Rainy. And my cousin came outside with me and talked with me, and he said, gave me a really great recommended spot to go take the RV. So that was really awesome, and it's going to be pretty close to over where he lives. And he said, you know, that pup clearly has an attachment and a connection, and that's important. And he goes, he said, you don't have a lot of that, and I think you should hold on to her. I'm sorry, guys. And so I said, maybe that would be a thing. And so last night I sat with Aspen, who is no longer named Aspen. So I wanted to kind of get to that. Her name is different now, but during her fostering process, we give them foster names, and then their names, of course, become a different name once they're adopted. So I sat with her last night, and she crawled right up with me, almost like she was saying thank you for not sending me away. And so I sat with her and just talked with her and cuddled her. And she fell asleep on my lap inside the room, and I laid her in her kennel. And throughout the night, you know, she wakes up because she's a puppy. And I took her outside to go potty, and she came right back in, and she just kind of pranced right with me like she always does. And I sat down on the floor with her, you know, let her get back to being ready to go to sleep. And she came up again, like she does, this puppy, and she only does this with me. She came up and she puts her paws up around my neck, and she buries her head in my neck. And it's like she's literally giving me a hug. And she stayed that way for a few minutes. She just kind of sat there, and you could feel like her little excited, from being outside, puppy breathing, to that relaxed state, like she's gonna go to sleep. And she walked over and curled up in her little bed and went to sleep. And I just sat there thinking about my cousin's words, which were, you don't have a lot of attachments, and I don't. And it's not often that you find something that you find like a serious connection with. And with Danny, I have like this really deep connection with, I don't know, it was not intentional, because I never intend with fosters to get like a deep connection with, but I always just want to make sure that they are absolutely loved, and that they know that they're absolutely loved, and that people and humans can be good and can be loving. And these were just babies when we got them. They were 3 weeks old, and they really required a lot of like love and attention and feeding and all that good stuff that goes with having a puppy. Oh, thank you, Sue. And so I made the decision last night, and I fought myself on this, because of the fact that I know no matter which way this swings, there's going to be some seriously judgmental people out there. They're going to say, you're moving into an RV, you're not going to have the space, it's not fair to the animals. But what we'll have in the RV is Tonks, Winnie Bear, and Danny. Her name is Denali, as in like the Denali Wilderness, like the Denali Wilderness of Alaska, the Denali Mountains. It is one of my favorite locations, and a lot of that stems from, one, my love of Alaska and wanting to go to Alaska and wanting to go out to the Denali range, like the big old mountain area. I've always wanted to visit there. And I thought Danny would be a cute nickname for short. And Aspen was a name that was, people think, yeah, exactly. Godric cannot go in the RV with us. Godric, one, is he's a very vocal dog with everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be a leaf blowing. We did a test run in the RV to see whether or not it would be a suitable fit for him. It's not. He barked all night, even with us trying to get sleep. He's barks at everything, any noise that he hears. Even when he's in a house, he hears a car from 2 streets over, he flies out the dog door, barking and barking and barking. He is an extremely vocal barking dog. He's also not one for close spaces, so he gets exactly right. Yeah, there is too much judgment in the world. I look at it this way: as long as they're loved, they're actively taken out so that they can actively get exercise, they're fed, they have good vet care. To me, that's what matters. It shouldn't matter how big your house is or how big your yard is, because my yard is going to be the world out there. So they're going to have all this yard space to get out. And to be honest, that's better than any gated in area. And there's dog parks. We have dog parks around here. We'll be able to go to the dog park and let them run and get their energy out. So they're not confined to just the RV. Yeah, exactly. So with the whole case with Godric, we tried to rehome him. Taylor did with his best friend. They did not watch him. One of them was irresponsible and did not keep an eye on him, and he ripped a massive hole in the carpet. He's done that here. If you guys remember, I had a full-on panic heart attack when he ripped a massive hole in the carpet in the hallway while we were out. Because we'd gone to the grocery store, and I didn't even think two thinks of it, because when we first got him, we had a house that had no carpet. So we didn't have to worry about that. And we moved in here, and we have carpet, and he ripped a massive hole in the carpet. Thank you, Kelly. You have a great day. So, Godric is destructive in a small space, or in a space when he's left alone. In the RV, there's not really room for an enclosed space, like a kennel or whatnot. So, we can't have him just running loose in the RV. One, the front area of the cab where you drive is carpeted because, of course, you have carpeting on in any vehicle. The rest of the RV from the cab back is hardwood flooring. We also have lots of corner spots. Godric chews up the corners of walls if you're not watching him. So, seeing as this is our small living space and we don't have a way to lock him up when we're not in it, we won't be able to have him in there. It's, one, not fair to him. It clearly causes him serious anxiety when we're not with him. Two, it would cause us serious anxiety knowing that we did all that work in there for him to just turn around and destroy it. Three, it will not be fair to our neighbors at the RV park where we'll be parking up to have a very obnoxiously loud barking dog who barks all the time. When you put him in a kennel and you leave, he barks the whole time. The only time he doesn't bark in the kennel is at night, when we kennel him at night to keep him from going in and out the dog door, in and out the dog door. Because otherwise, he doesn't sleep. He's so high anxiety that he runs in and out the dog door all night if you don't kennel him. And so I can't even imagine trying to sleep in the RV again, like we tried to, and him hearing every noise and getting up and barking and trying to get out the actual door of the RV, barking, which is what he did. So one, it's not fair to him. It seriously racks his anxiety through the roof. Two, it's not fair to us. For mental health wise, you got to be able to rest. You got to be able to sleep. And so we may potentially have a great home for him. We'll find out today. He will be with 2 other pups. We have learned with Godric, when we get him out and we let him off leash away from his property, we took him to the dog park and he did amazing. I was shocked because the first time we ever took him to a dog park, he got into a fight. This time around, he did amazing. He ran around, he played with the other dogs. He didn't try to be dominant. He just had himself a good time, which I think was a big deal. So we do know that he can adapt to other animals. When he was with Juan, he did really good with another puppy. I was really shocked at how well he did with Rainey and Danny. He did so good. Like, he growled at them here and there. And I think he even nipped at Rainey at one point because she kept getting up on his face like puppies do. And he let her know, hey, that's not tolerated. You don't jump in our faces. And she would do the same thing to Tonks, and Tonks would nip at her too. So it's a normal thing for dogs to nip at puppies to tell them knock it off. But he did so good. So Godric's thing is he can't be, one, unattended. If he's unattended, he has to be kenneled. He is high anxiety. He has separation anxiety. And he's destructive when he's in that state. So even when we would put him in the kennel, we would give him what we call Kong, one of the big Kong like weird things, and I would fill it with like peanut butter or like doggy cheesy treat stuff, which would occupy his time. So it would keep him mentally occupied. But it would have to be within the kennel, because if I left him in the kitchen or the living room or wherever and gave him that, he would totally forget about that treat and start being destructive within the property. So it's not, I guess you say, it's not accommodating for either of us to have him in the RV. So other than that, so no, Godric will not be going with us. So it will be just Danny, Tonks, and Winnie Bear in the RV. And it would have been Tonks, Penny, and Winnie Bear in the RV. When we started traveling, that was already going to be the situation. Godric was never intended to go in the RV with us. We had tried, and it wasn't going to happen. Okay, we want some tea. Tea is good. But my cousin got in the RV with me last night, and so did Clara. Clara got to finally see the inside of the RV, and she's like, "There's so much more space. Like, there's so much space in here. I didn't even think there was this much space in these things." I said, well, there wasn't at first until we removed that entire one section of the RV. inside. And she's like, this is actually really, like, this is comfortable. And I said, yeah, it's going to definitely be super comfy when it's all finished. And so, like, I don't have much left in there, you guys, other than, like, laying those last pieces of the flooring, which we just cut, and then painting. So getting the painting done, the water tank's going in today, and we'll have that in by this afternoon. And we'll give it a good test run, make sure all the water's running. But other than that, like, she's pretty much ready to be lived in. So water tank goes in and we're good to go. I want to go get a few more batteries to put in the battery bay, because right now there's just the one, which is like, it's sufficient enough to do, like, while we're, like, driving, it'll charge the battery that's there, and of course the battery that runs the engine, but you don't use that one for your components. The other battery that's down in the bay also is connected to the alternator, which charges both batteries, the battery for the engine, but then the battery for the actual RV itself. So we will probably get a couple more. I went through and was looking at some information. Probably the best way to run those is going to be in parallel, so we can up our whatever you call it, our not our voltage, but our amps. But anyway, so that'll be how we're going to run them. I would like to get another 3 batteries, so we have 4 in the battery bay. Battery bay. I don't know where that accent came from. The battery bay, and that'll allow us to run the refrigerator if we want to get away from the camp, from the RV park for like a week. Excuse me, for a weekend or something. We'll be able to have batteries to run on. The generator does work. We're going to actually do a little tweaking with it today. We're going to see if we can't quiet it down. If we can get its decibels down, like the noise decibel, it's the DPS or whatnot. If we can bring that level down, we have a little thing that tests like that in the sound level. I forgot what it's called. I'm not technical on this whole aspect. We can get that sound level down and quiet it down a bit, then that generator will work for us for a little while. Right now, where it's at, when you run it, you can't even run it in the city. Hi, Jeffrey. So I know already that we're going to receive judgment, which is why I've only shared it here right now about Danny, and that Danny will be going with us. I don't know why, but Danny is like the cutest nickname for Denali. It also reminds me of Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones, but her name is not Daenerys. Her name is Denali, as in Denali Mountain Range in Alaska. She is, of course, a white dog. We're almost certain that she's going to end up with spots, like a Dalmatian, which makes me question a little more her background and her breed, because she has a big gray patch on her butt, which was very small when we first got her. It was just like a little spot. Now it is a big spot, which is like shaped like this. Literally, I'm not kidding. It's literally that shape right there. It's on her butt. Now her ears have spots, and they're gray. They're not black. She's got a gray spot on her butt. She's got gray spots on her ears now. So her ears are speckled. And when we gave her a bath last night, we've given her a bath quite a few times because Danny has a habit of peeing while playing and then sitting or laying in said puddle of urine that she has just expelled from her body quite often. Which was one reason why Clara also was like, no, I'm not doing puppy baths over and over again. She looked dead at Tanner and she said, no. And we had just given Danny a bath before they got here when she proceeded to pee on the kitchen floor and sat right in it. So her whole butt area was wet with puppy pee, which meant I had to go and rinse her back off again. So she's got a little bit of a bad habit of doing that to herself. She'll outgrow that. By the way, I've had another puppy during fostering that used to do the same thing, and that would have been Elsa from the 3 little puppies. Elsa had that bad habit of she would pee and then lay down right in it. And she was longer haired like Maui was, and she would get it all over her belly. And so she was the one that got the most baths out of the group. Because she was constantly in her own pee, and she would sit or lay down in her own poop. There are dogs out there that do that, where they roll in other dogs' poop. If you've ever watched CTFXC and Charles Trevete, Marley does that quite often. I don't know why they do it, but anyway. So Danny does that all the time, where she gets herself into her own mess. But anywho, where was I going with that? Anyway, so we gave her a bath last night, and she's had quite often had a bunch of them. And for the first time last night giving her a bath, we noticed she has black spots coming through like the rest of her fur. Oh gosh, yeah. That's actually funny. But so last night we gave her a bath, and she's got like 5 of them that we saw coming through. And so Dalmatian puppies are the same way. Their spots don't come in until they get a little bit older. So most Dalmatian puppies are white, and then they start to get color. So last night we did a little research. Of course, it's not a guarantee. Like, you're not going to get an absolute guarantee of a breed just by its visual look. But we were looking up different things, because we do know that their mom was a lab mix. We are almost certain it was pit bull. We could be totally wrong. Could be a whole nother breed. But we're assuming because of the area and whatnot, there's a lot of pit bull breeding with other dogs out here. We do know that the boxer next door, the dude's boxer next door, is who jumped the fence into that neighbor's yard and got mama pregnant. She could have had other dogs from the neighborhood who got in there too, but one of the puppies looks exactly like the dad. Like, their markings are down to exact markings. Yeah, Taylor takes after me so much. Like, I have a picture of me at 11 years old, and if you crop my hair out of the picture, it's a spitting image of Taylor. Like, but here's the funny part. When you put Taylor next to my brother, it's literally like everybody says it. All of our family says it. It's almost like my brother crapped out my son. They are literally a spitting image of each other, like down to even their vocals. My brother called me the other night. I haven't talked to my brother on the phone in a long time. Life is just, life has gotten in the way. So I hadn't talked to him on the phone. Like, we messaged each other, but we hadn't spoken on the phone. He heard about my uncle, who my brother went to school with. Like, they were in school together, best friends together. If you guys are wondering why that is, my uncle was the same age as my brother. So he was our uncle not by blood. The family that he's from took my aunt in when my grandma died. My aunt was only 9 years old then, and so they adopted my aunt and raised my aunt. Well, when they had Jose, he was the same age as, like, my mom. My mother is 12 years older than my aunt. So by the time my mom had my brother, the lady who adopted my aunt had Jose. So they were the same age. So the two of them went to school together, and best friends. Like, you found my brother, you found Jose, you found my brother. Like, either or. They were always together. Well, he heard about my uncle, and he called me, and he was really upset. And at first I had been asleep, so when the phone rang, I didn't even see the name when I answered it. And I thought it was Taylor talking to me at first. And I was like, hey, Bubba, Bubba, calm down, whatever. And he's like, God, Marianne. And I was like, when do you call me by my name? And he's like, this is your brother. And I was like, oh my God. Because he calls me by my first name, by the way, which I think I've said my first name to you guys before. I hate my first name, so don't call me that, please. But he's only ever called me by my first name. Even though he knows I'd rather go by Marie, which is my middle name. he knows I hate my first name. But of course, he was in like a state of a moment, and he called me by my first name. And I was like, what? At first, I thought it was Taylor doing that to me. And I was like, excuse me, when do you call me by my first name? And he goes, this is your brother. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm sorry, I was asleep. I thought you were Taylor. And Sarah even thought it was Taylor. Because she's like, why is brother calling at this hour? And I was like, it's your Uncle Joe. And so she was like, nah. Literally, both of us thought it was Taylor. Like, they sound identical on the phone. Their cadence when they talk, their choice in, like, their word choicing when they speak, the way they halt in the middle of a sentence before finishing it, like, down to, they're identical. And the funny part is, my brother and my son have only ever, like, interacted, like, in person on probably 4 occasions in their entire lives. And other than, like, hearing each other talk on the phone or interacting through, like, social media. But they have never, like, other than on 4 separate occasions, did they actually spend physical time together. So it's crazy how similar the two of them are, like, visually and vocally. My brother, however, is definitely much more, like, beefier than my son. Like, my brother's still on the slim side, but that's because he's a cyclist, so he cycles everywhere. Like, they build bicycles, like high-end, expensive, like, bicycles that you would see people using in those, like, cross-country biking and stuff like that. Cycling. So that's what my brother does. Like, he is, like, an intense cyclist. And so he stays trim and stuff like that specifically for that, but he's more, like, beefy than Taylor is. Like, Taylor's very slimline, very scrawny, whimsy looking, versus my brother, who is thin but muscular. Yeah, my brother is very into that. We talked for a while, found out, that he's having some struggles, the same as, like, we are. He wished me all the best. I have to get out there because I've got to meet my nephew, Brendan. I always say Brandon. Brendan. I need to go meet this little dude. He's a year old, and I need to go meet him. I've gotten to see him through videos and photos, and let me just say that part of social media has been absolutely amazing. My brother was like, I missed a lot of Taylor and Sarah, and he goes, and it makes me mad that I did. He goes, they're so grown now, and they're adults now, and he goes, and I didn't get to spend as much time as I wanted. He was there when I gave birth to Taylor, and he was funny because my brother was I always say he is the reason that I went into labor with Taylor when I finally did. But on my due date, which was funny, the night before my due date, I was getting ready for bed, and my brother goes, yeah, you're gonna pop him out tomorrow. And I was like, well, tomorrow's my due date. Doesn't mean I'm actually gonna deliver him tomorrow, which I didn't deliver him. But I woke up at 5:30 in the morning with what we assumed was my water breaking. Which funny part about that is, which I think I've discussed before. When I was pregnant with Taylor, the pregnancy started off as twins. I lost one of them very early in, very, very early in, roughly around 8 to 10 weeks, roughly is what the OB assumed it was, by measurements. So there was a second sac that was very small, that ruptured before Taylor's did. So the first sac ruptured, which was what indicated to me that I was going into labor. They ended up breaking Taylor's sac about 7 hours before he actually delivered. So that was a fun adventure. But yes, my brother made the smart aleck comment the night before I went into labor with Taylor. So I went into labor on Taylor's actual due date and delivered him the following day. I had a total of 36, almost 37 hours of labor with Taylor before he was delivered. So yeah, he's always been my hard-headed child. He's always been my one that has been a pain in my booty. Sarah was my very easy pregnancy, very easy delivery. And she was my easiest baby. Taylor, from jump, from when I got pregnant with him to carrying him, I was sick my whole pregnancy with Taylor. Now there's a name for that. There's an actual medical term for what I went through when I was pregnant with Taylor, and I just started finding these things online. Colleen Ballinger went through the exact same thing that I went through when I was pregnant with Taylor. So if you ever are curious how miserable my pregnancy with Taylor was, go watch Colleen. You'll understand. It was horrendous. I literally thought my whole body was going to break. I constantly was throwing up. I fainted I don't know how many times. It's snowing in, is that Indiana? Is that Indiana? Indianapolis? Indiana? No. I don't remember what IN is. You have to tell me. I think that's Indiana. Indiana. It was, my pregnancy with Taylor was so miserable. Drove on a bumpy road near the water when she was carrying me and came home and her water broke. My brother said, "Mom, you're peeing on the floor." Yeah. It was funny too, because when my water broke, like you see in the movies, like Taylor was my first delivery. So when you see it in the movies, like the lady's like walking and it's like sploosh. Okay, first of all, you should have panties on. So let's be clear. Or underwear for those that don't like the word panties. So there's that. If you're wearing clothing, like most women should be, and you're out in public, you shouldn't have no sploosh reaction. Though when my water did break, I was wearing a pair of just maternity legging things and of course underwear, and my water broke and it was like I just peed my pants because it like went down my thighs on the fabric, of course, and I was like, how embarrassing, right? But I knew it wasn't pee because when you pee, you know the sensation of peeing. So I knew it wasn't that. Since last night. Oof. Yeah, Indiana. Oof. Yeah, sleet and ice. I dealt with that when we were in Oklahoma, and I love Oklahoma, by the way. I absolutely love Oklahoma, but I do not love like ice and sleet and nope. I was terrified trying to get around the streets there when it was all iced up. You had no control over your vehicle at all. Like the ice dictated the road. So not a fun experience. But yeah, so yeah, no. But anyway, so the decision was made last night. Well, technically it was really early this morning that I would be keeping Danny. I really, really sat and struggled with that thought. I talked with the vet yesterday and with Donna, and the pictures of Danny with Penny, and she said, wow, those two had a really nice little bond. Oh yeah, get me a towel. Yeah, exactly. But even the vet said, she goes, that puppy may have been what made Penny hold on as long as she did. We're almost certain that Penny's puppies, that she clearly, when we got her, she had recently had, and more than likely were taken from her because she still had, like, even though she'd gone into season, and there's a scientific word for what happens there. When a mother dog delivers her puppies and her puppies don't make it, or are what she would assume didn't make it, so like if you remove her puppies from her from jump, she will go right back into season to reproduce again. Most dogs have 2 cycles a year, right? They're spaced roughly about 6 months apart. So they'll have a cycle. If they're in nature, they will get pregnant. They will deliver puppies, raise those puppies up. By the time those puppies are 12 weeks of age, mom will go back into season again. So there's that 6-month window between season, pregnancy, 12 weeks of puppy raising, back into season again. That's the cycle. we're almost certain that Penny had a litter of puppies that they took from her, and she showed that she had definitely not gotten to nurse them. She was what they call milk bounded. So she had not been relieved of her initial milk coming in, which was heartbreaking. So we knew she had just recently had puppies. Not sure exactly how recent, because she was milk bound, which can last like anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks. Then her body was cycled back into season again. So she was just, multiple whammies on her health wise. So that's why she did not make it. But bringing, when we got Danny and we brought Danny into the house with her, even though we also had Rainey here, she took right to Danny. Like, she wanted, like, any of the other dogs came near Penny's face, she would lose her shit. Like, not even kidding. But with Danny, she literally took that puppy and tucked that puppy in with her head, pulled her into her, and wanted her to stay there. And just the two of them bonded, like, immediately. We had to, of course, keep the puppies away from her belly because we didn't want them to trigger or start trying to nurse on her, which they wanted to. So we, that was one of the things where I had to be like right there, but she wanted the puppies to be with her, especially Danny. So we knew that something tragic happened to her. But like the vet said, she goes, that puppy is going to bring you so much joy. She didn't know at the time when she said those words that we had actually intended for them to go up for adoption. I ended up informing her. I said, well, these are just fosters. And she goes like that at me. That's literally all she said. Like, she didn't say anything. Her expression was like a like she just knew, like she already just knew that Danny was going to be one that was going to stay. Because even sitting at they're getting their weight check and all that done, Danny literally clings to me. Like, anybody else tries to pick her up, she will cry until you hand her back to me. Which is, I've never, ever, in my entire time I've ever fostered and had animals, have I ever had a puppy, or dog for that matter, who refused to be with anybody but me. Like, refused. And even Sarah yesterday said it, when everything was going on and Danny was losing her noodle, and I picked her up. She goes, pick her up, Mom. She needs you. And I picked her up and she buried her head in me and she goes, Mom, you can't. You can't. Like, you can't make her go. Like, that dog is attached to you. And they're right. Like, they're right. And I sat with her last night and I just thought, I can't. I can't. As much as I know that people are going to say crap and people are going to be jerks, I know several family members who are going to say something. They did when we took Penny in. Like, we had people that actually gave us a really hard time when we took Penny in. And that kind of broke my heart, the reaction I got from some people about Penny. Ouch. Ow. I don't know what I got. I think I got a splinter right in my arm from carrying that wood yesterday. I was wondering why that was so sore right there. Oh. Sorry, guys, but I just rubbed my arm and I was like, why is that itch right there? And then I rubbed it. And I've got a splinter. Yeah, I got some choice words thrown my way about taking in Penny. And taking in a dog that was from Penny's situation, and the risk I was putting myself in and putting Sarah in, the risk that I was putting my other dogs in. It was people talking out of misinformation, I guess would be the right way to put it. If you've never worked in fostering, animals-wise, not kids, but animals, it could go for kids too, but if you've ever worked with fostering with animals or worked in a shelter and stuff like that, you learn a lot about, one, animal behavior, two, you learn a lot about human behavior. Aw, yeah. If you do that on Instagram, yeah, I'll see it. But like people talk out of misinformation about situations they just don't understand, and people are just judgmental, right? Peanut gallery. So the people talking need to mind their exactly, Jeff. And so that's what I did last night. I sat down and I was telling Sarah, and she's like, "Who the hell cares?" I love my kid. Let me just tell you that. She has one of the most, pardon my language, but she has the most fuck off attitude to the world anybody's ever had. That is directly related to me, right? Like that is in my direct communication. Hi, LaTanya. How are you? Your feet are cold. All right, we'll see you later, Sammy. I love that about Sarah because she don't give a crap what anybody else has to say about her or her situation or what she's doing. If she's going to do something, she's going to make that decision. She's going to do it. She's like, I don't care what they think. They let them talk. So I was like sitting here like beating myself up over the decision of whether or not to, I was like, yeah, but if I share it or I post about her, you know, if I want to share like I do with Tonks and I want to share any information online, I'm going to get crap from people. She's like, who cares? Block them. You know, delete their messages. Don't worry about what they say. She's like, because it's you that's living it. It's you that's going to take care of her. It's you that's going to be partnered with her. Who cares what anybody else says? And my cousin said the same thing. He goes, who cares? He goes, you do this because it's rewarding, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you were already going to have 2 big dogs in the RV. I said, yeah. And he goes, she ain't going to be big for a while. And I was like, that's true. So he's got a valid point. One, we don't plan on being in the RV for an extended length of time, just for a short period right now. By the time Danny's big enough, we're hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll have purchased a property within the next 6 months. So yeah, by 6 months, she is going to be a good-sized dog. But we don't intend to be in the RV full-time anyway, other than for this short stint while we find something. So we're technically only going to have a large dog and 2 smaller dogs, a small little dog and one that will be medium-sized for a little while. So they were right. And he said, and if you keep her, we can take them out together and go to the river and they can play together and they're sisters so they can have fun together. And he's right. So we both love going out on the river. So yeah, like Sarah's literally, she's got life down. Like she really does. This kid is freaking fantastic. I gotta make sure I don't forget to get her to work today on time. This thing is really painful. I need to not keep wiping at it. I need to get a pair of tweezers out. I also had a freaking huge thorn in my foot yesterday. Apparently when I was leaving the RV, when I stepped on the planks of wood that I had laid down, I got a big old splinter in my toe yesterday because I took my shoes off. I didn't want to get paint on my shoes. And I stepped on a piece of the wood and a big old thorn went into my toe. That wasn't very nice. I didn't even know it was on my toe until I went to get inside the house and I snagged the little piece that was sticking out on the carpet. Then I was well aware that I had a splinter in my toe. But yeah. A splinter handy. Right? Oh my gosh. But yeah. Oh, that really... Ooh. It looks like it kind of went in like more straight than like sideways. So that's going to be a doozy to pull out. That's going to hurt. I was carrying wood that we tore out of the RV in my arms, oh my God, I'm so congested again. That we tore out that are being tossed because they're just seriously disgusting pieces that are so old that they're just falling apart. And I grabbed a whole armful of it, so oops. My bad. It's alright though. But you guys have made me feel so much better. Just being able to talk and let it out. You know what I mean? Like sometimes just being able to talk and let yourself, one, hear what you're thinking but also have people to resound and bounce it off of. You meant tweezers, yeah. It makes you realize that, one, the way you feel sometimes is valid. Two, sometimes it's nice to know that people think the same way that you do, which is like, you know what? Screw what anybody else thinks. Because they're not the ones providing the food. They're not the ones providing the space. They're not the ones providing you getting out and walking and doing the things with these, whatever it is in your life. They're not the ones paying your bills. Which I can say that. Even with the YouTube channel, I pay my bills. We don't make money on YouTube. So, oh yeah, being able to vent. So that's one of the things I always struggle with, is like sometimes you give people validation in their words due to the fact that you think that they're helping you in some way. Like for me, even the people that are absolute haters, when our channel started to grow, before this whole taking channel stuff down because of COPA or whatever, or the COPA thing or whatever, like we were like, well, you know, we do earn revenue when they watch our videos, but let me just tell you what, in 5 years of putting videos on YouTube, in 5 years, we finally, for the first time in January, got our very first payout from Google for our videos. So we did, when we were partnered with Fullscreen, we did get revenue from Fullscreen, but that was through Fullscreen, not through us earning from YouTube. So when I sit there and I say that, yeah, we earned revenue through people watching our videos, it was not enough to sustain a gosh dang thing. Our sustained income was through me busting my butt working 8, 9, 10-hour shifts, me working 14-hour shifts, me doing all that work on top of putting videos out. So we supplied our bills. We covered what was, I, because it was me. My kids went to school full, as students. I did that work. Nobody else. Like I told one of my family members a few years back, who made a comment about something that I had purchased. I won't really discuss what it was back then, but something I had purchased. And I got this comment back about, well, I don't see how you could afford to do that. Hi, T38. And I snapped back like instantly because it ticked me off. I said, hey, my bills are paid and it wasn't you that did it. So you won't have a space to say a damn thing about what I just bought. Because what I had bought was something for myself. For the first time in years, I had purchased something for me. And that was a few years back. And I was, to this day, love that purchase. Still have that purchase. And will continue to use said purchase. Because it was for me. And I love it. And I'm going to continue to love it. Because I'll work my butt off for it. And I don't care what anybody else says. So, when I bought the RV last year before, well, I paid for it, finished paying for it last year. I had one specific family member who's like, that's kind of a waste of money. Yo, guys, I'm going to turn into sassy ass Marie. That beautiful Barbara out there, that waste of money has just become our full-time residence. So, waste of money? Yeah. Back. Got a lot of phone calls in the middle of this. So, exactly. So on here, I just kind of, had a bit of a cry. Thanks to absolutely amazing people. Ain't nobody business if I do. Right, exactly. What about all animals are you able to fit? Okay, loving my life. We just actually discussed that. So the animals that are coming with us in the RV, and we just had this discussion, is Tonks, Winnie Bear, and Danny. That's it. Godric is going to a new home. We will find out this afternoon if they're able to pick him up this afternoon. And that's it. the other puppy was already rehomed. No, that's okay. So Tonks, Winnie Bear's Sarah's dog. So Tonks being my old boy, and Danny, the new pup, which was one of the fosters. So if you've been following along and you saw on Instagram, we actually had them dubbed Rainy and Aspen. Aspen's name has been changed because she is becoming a permanent member to the family. So her name is now Denali, as in the Denali wilderness area of Alaska, which is one of my favorite places, one of our absolute travel destinations. So her, for short, we're just calling her Danny. She seems to respond to it really well, which I was surprised because we have been calling her Aspen for the past couple of weeks. But puppies are really easy to mold and teach new things to. So teaching her a new name will be, I started calling her Danny last night, knowing that we were going to make her a permanent member. So if you're curious about that whole thing, you can go back and watch this from the start where I explain about my decision to keep her. My cousin was, between my cousin, his woman, his fiance, and Sarah, the decision was made that she would stay with us, stay with me, because Sarah won't be living with me much longer. So, you know your financial situation more than anyone. Yeah, exactly. And here's the kicker about it. Financially, we're stable. You know what I mean? Like, we have a house. Well, we had a house. So I'm super irritated that, people within my family are assuming that we're moving into the RV because we can't afford the house anymore. That is not the case. We're not moving out of here into an RV because we want to. We're being forced into it. Oh my God, my nose is so runny. Stay right here, guys. Let me go blow my nose for a second. Be right back. Oh God, my hip stood up wrong. Oh my gosh, my nose. Ow. So, yeah, people keep assuming, like, several people in my family assumed that we are being evicted. We're not being evicted. Let's make that very clear. The city sold our house under the pretense that these places were empty. These people that bought the house were under the assumption that the house was a vacant property that they were buying on the river, because the city's jerks, and they did this in the most shadiest of manners. The new owners want to reside here. They purchased it to live on the river, okay? Because we are in a river home. Not knowing that they purchased properties that were already occupied, they have had to submit and have us be given letters of non-renewal of your lease. Okay, so it's not an eviction letter, which is not like you would get eviction letter, state eviction. There's nothing we can do. The new owners, because the property now is in new ownership, they want ownership. They want full access to their property as of March 4th. So we don't have a choice. We have to leave. Yeah, don't know the flavor. Yep. Oh, thank you. Thank you, LaTanya. Yeah, it's just been, it's one of those things where this whole week and a half has been absolute hell on wheels. We lost Penny last Sunday, like not this past Sunday, but the Sunday prior. So we lost Penny on Sunday, lost my uncle on Sunday, same day as Penny. Then not even 2 days later, we find out we've lost our house, like that we have to move out of our house. Then on top of that, Wednesday, not this Wednesday, last Wednesday, which was literally the next day after we just got the letter showing that we have to move out, and the meeting that discussed why we all have to move out of our houses. Then we find out that my just very, very recent general manager or district manager of our job passed away, who was an amazing, amazing man. So it was like, we lost so many things all in one go. Whoops, hold on. travel all over or stay close to where you are? Sorry. I always show up late. Oh, no, we're not going to be traveling anywhere right now. Sarah's working, so with her job, we kind of have to stay close right now. At least until, I should say, I won't be doing any traveling until after Sarah has found, like, sorted her living situation. Yeah, it was literal, like, bang, 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 all back to back. This week has been hell. And I can't even say this week because now we're almost to the end of this week. Last week was absolute hell. But I spent pretty much all my time sitting out in the RV, painting, getting things done. Right. And that's the thing, is I try to explain to people, you don't know what people are going through, right? You just don't know. And when you are miserable to someone, or you say things to people and they are in, like, the state of mind I was in when I started this live stream, you could seriously cause absolute irreversible damage mentally to someone if they're already struggling. Because you just don't know. And it could be one simple, what you think is a simple statement that could send somebody over that edge, right? That it could just be one stupid small thing, and it could cause serious disaster to that person. So people who see me out on the streets when I go to the grocery store have no idea that this past week we lost 2 really important people and a very beloved family pet that had, even though she wasn't with us very long, the attachment was instant. The love, the connection, the goals we had, the life we planned out and mapped out for her future was already in our hearts and we stone set it to us. And to lose her so fast and so tragically, like, was beyond me. Then to lose my uncle same exact day in an absolutely tragic situation, you know, and then to the man that had my back from jump when I started working at my other job a year ago, like, to have that man have my back, to be there, to see this man love the business and job he was in, who, when I was sick and had to leave that job, call me on the phone and be, how are you doing, Marie? How are you recovering? Are you doing okay? Like, just checking on me. Hey, how's your daughter doing? He didn't have to do that. I didn't work for them anymore, but he did it. And then to find out that this man who was so into taking care of everyone else around him, to find out he had a massive heart attack in the parking lot of the place that, at one of his stores, and to have died, like, you know, it's like this whole past week was, you can't even wrap your head around all of it, like. And then also to top it all off with all the loss, our house, you know, our house. And I kind of, in the back of my head, like, when it all was said and done, like, we were standing outside when I got back to the house after that meeting, and I'm standing outside and I'm looking at Barbara, and I went, all right, old lady, we got to get you going. And it was like this little tiny flicker, right? Like, I always tell people this. There's always this little light. There's always a glimmer somewhere. Always grab that and grip onto that with everything you got to pull you through that and to guide you through that day. To that darkness, whatever that darkness is, there's going to be something. It could be the smallest thing, but it's so significant. As little as it seems, there's a huge significance to why it is a light. Grab it. And I stood outside and I looked at Barbara and I looked at Sarah and I said, we're lucky. I'm gonna cry again. Because we have something that other people don't. my heart sank in that same moment because of the fact that we have a home. Is it big and luxurious? No. Is it ours? Is it mine? Is it something that I will have for as long as I hold on to her? Absolutely. The other veteran that lived in the other house, very true. Jeff, very true. And I just thought, this man and his wife have a 4-year-old and a 2-month-old. And they have nowhere to go. The places around here, like, we're on a veterans program. We're on a veterans relief program, which allows us to continue living while trying to get all of our veterans benefit stuff in order. There are benefits that we are still fighting against the VA for. One, my hearing damage, right? Like, something I don't talk about. I have tinnitus. My left ear, all I hear from my left ear is constant ringing, okay? To this day, like, nobody realizes that. I don't hear from my left side other than a constant ringing noise. It's always there. So when people talk to me, I'll go like this because sometimes I don't hear them. And especially if they're to my left side, I don't hear them because there's this constant loud ringing, which is one reason why I have migraines, because my ear is constantly ringing. One reason why I don't sleep very well. I have a constant ringing in my ear. We're still fighting them on that. There's a settlement thing going on right now for hearing damage due to the products we were using during my service career. If you've ever been around F-16s or at an air show and been out there when an F-16 takes flight, you know exactly what I'm talking about, how loud those suckers are. All right, in the room, group hug. It's obnoxious. I worked at a base that was a training base with 280 F-16 fighter jets on a flight line. We went out there on this flight line and worked around all these things. Hi, Bree. You can imagine how loud it is listening to 280 jets firing up, going on and off that runway, doing test flights, taking off. And if you are part of a training group and whatnot, you do know that if you've been out to Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, the jets out there take off on what they call full afterburner. They take off on a full afterburn, okay? If you don't know what that means, this is what it means. It means that the jet is got itself braked, right? So it's in brake mode. It fires its engines at full speed, right? It full throttles the engine, which is very loud. When the engine does its big, right? Then they release the brakes and that jet takes off at full speed. Okay, from standstill, that jet is gone and in the air in seconds. Seconds. They call it an afterburn because you don't release the brake until the flame out the back of the jet hits when it does the, that's when they release the brake and that jet takes flight. It is insanity. If you've never witnessed it, if you've never been to an air show, you are seriously missing out on how absolutely amazing it is. Thank you, T38. Thank you. I've always been that. Like, that's always just been me. I've always had that attitude through everything. And I think that's the reason why I'm here at 40 years old. Because I've always been a firm believer in there's always, no matter how rough things get, no matter how many tears I put out of frustration or love or anger, which, by the way, my tears are also tied to when I get super angry. So if a situation is something that would make you mad and you see me in tears, just know that I'm probably super, super heated. But this program that we were on is so that we can live while still dealing with the veterans system. And to find out that they cut the program for a stupid city budget angers me. That would be one of the things they would remove from the budget. Without notification, without saying, hey, look, do you all want to get together and do some kind of fundraising to help fund the program, to keep the program going? Nothing was stated. Nothing was given to us. Nothing was told to us. Our houses were sold right out from underneath us. The program was nixed without any information for any of the program runners. And here's the kicker. Without the program being funded by the city or by the budget, there's no program. The people that were running the program are now out of a job. So not only are they out of a job, one of the people that were that were running the program also was out of a house because he was residing in one of the houses. And so, like I said, when I got here and I sat back and I looked out at Barbara, there's my little light. And every day since that day we got that letter and we sat there in that meeting, I've been inside of that RV. I have been sitting inside Barbara, busting my butt to get her in a condition that we can say, this is our home. This is what we're going to be in, and this is how we're going to do it. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. So I know that we're going to be okay. Is it going to be the most absolutely livable, comfortable situation? Probably not. If it was just me and the pups, like myself, Tonks, and Danny in there, no problem, right? Because that was my intention in the long run. Like, I plan on, still to this day, my plan is to live in my RV full time. To get rid of the whole property thing, to not have to worry about a house, not have to worry about maintaining a big residence. Taylor's in the military. Sarah wants to move into her own apartment. They get those things done. I want to reside full time in the RV. Did I even get that turned on? Yeah. I want to live in the RV full time. That's my long-term goal. So for me, it's not a big deal. But living in it when you have another human is hard, right? That's going to be the hard part. So the cool part is the place that my cousin recommended, even though the RV does have a full shower, like full bathroom, right? She's got full amenities in her. This place has access to free, like your water is free when you're there. So that's awesome. Water and electric is free. It's part of the space. So here's the cool part. We will be setting the RV in a lot, like in a RV parking space, hooked up, full amenities, right? And you can actually set up to have internet set up there. So they can come out and each spot has its own pole, its own setup. So everything is there on that pole. So they can come out, hook us up to the lines that are part of the internet company there, which is the same one we're part of now. They come out, they transfer our internet to that spot. They hook it up. We got it hooked up to the trailer. We'll have our full internet again. And it's only $300 a month. $300 a month to park there and have electric and water on top of being able to have a space to put the RV. So, like, what? Full laundry facility. So we'll be able to wash our laundry. Of course, you have to have coins to wash your laundry, which is not a big deal. Laundry facility and a full shower facility. So if you don't want to have to sit out in your RV, because of course, anybody knows this, once you're hooked up at the RV park, which is great, you hook up the external water, so your water flow is always there. You still have to hook up the black/gray water tank. Ours is all one. So if anybody's wondering, because ours is an older trailer, the big tank underneath our thing is where our potty stuff goes. and our sink water, shower water goes into that same tank. So it's one big tank. We don't have a black water tank and a gray water tank. It's all one. This is because it is an older RV. So when you flush it out, it's all that. So when you do the older tanks, when you flush the I'm going to call it the poop tank. When you flush the poop tank, you empty it first. Then you make sure you've got a hose hooked up to your fresh water tank. You hook that up, and then you just run your shower and your sink at the same time. It'll keep that water moving into the tank, into the poop tank, and it'll flush whatever else is in there out. So that's how you kind of rinse it. Sounds gross, but you also use a stuff that you dump in there, which kind of eats away at the yucky stuff a bit. So when it flushes all of that junk out. So it's kind of a process to dump the tank. But when you're parked, like at the RV park, it's constantly keeping that tank moving, right? So you don't have to worry about the tank filling up, then having to dump it, like if you were traveling with it. If you're traveling with it, the tank kind of fills up, then you get to a place, you dump the tank, flush the tank, whatnot. You're not always guaranteed at a dumping station that you will have a water hookup station. So with the older RVs, it makes it a little more difficult. Which is why I was hoping we were going to do a composting toilet. We're probably still going to get a composting toilet, just FYI. It's just so much less of a hassle than trying to find somewhere to dump a black water tank, or a black tank and gray water tank. The gray water tank can take a while to fill up, which would be fine, and it's literally just your shower and sink water. But if we had a composting toilet, we would never have to worry about having to dump a tank that has, your potty stuff. Yeah, you can definitely not beat that with a stick. It's an amazing, amazing deal. They will take a 77. They take some very, very old styled RVs. So that's a big plus. So at least where we'll be is not very far from where Sarah works. So that'll help out. So we won't be driving huge distances to get her to work. And my cousin, because I was worried that we didn't have a dolly for my car. And he said, I have a trailer. As soon as you get the RV where you need to go, I will come and haul your car. So we can get your car to wherever you're going with the RV. And so I was like, all right. And he goes, and then after you get all situated, he goes, I will look around and see if we can't find you a permanent dolly that you can hook up on the back of the RV so that you have that for when you want to pull out of there and go do stuff with the RV. And I was like, you're freaking amazing. So my cousin was a huge light for me yesterday with everything that's going on with our uncle and how hard that hit him too, because him and my uncle were very, very close. Like, they work together. They work in the same business, and they traveled to each of those job locations together. Like, they spent weeks together at a time. And so I know that hits him really hard. And I, of course, babysat my cousin all the time as he was growing up. Like, my aunt would work and I would babysit and take care of him. When I was pregnant with Taylor, I took care of him. Like, he was my little... him and Taylor were like my two little guys. I took them to the river together. Like, everything. Those boys grew up together. My cousin Tanner's only a year and a half older than my son. My aunt and I are very close in age, so we had our kids right around the same time. So Tanner is her baby. Like, he's the youngest, Sarah being my youngest. But Taylor and Tanner grew up together, only a year and a half apart in age, and we did everything with them together. So Tanner has a really special place with me, like a super special soft spot for him. Yeah, he's like, I always feel like he's like my little brother, because my aunt is like my best friend / like the only real mother figure that I really look to as somebody who's been by my side through everything. Like, through everything. She was there through my pregnancies. She was there through the birth of my kids. She was there through, like, everything, like Taylor's surgeries, through my military stuff. She had my back unlike some of my other family who told me I was doing the wrong thing when I joined the military and that I was abandoning my children. I mean, I received so much hell from other family members. My aunt was the only one who first asked me questions to see whether or not it was like the exact thing that I wanted. But then when she heard my reasoning for it and why I wanted to do it, she supported my decision and she had my back from the get-go. And like, that's what a mother is supposed to do. That's what a best friend is going to do. And yeah, she's a super special human for me. You're welcome to stay here for a bit. Oh, T38, that's really, really sweet. That's really, really sweet. Like, Cali that's my home. Like, I was born in California. I grew up in California. It is definitely my home. If California wasn't so gosh dang expensive, that'd be the first place I would be taking that RV to and parking up. But their RV parks are very strict about years on their RVs and what year you can have in there. Which is going to be really funny because once Barbara's fully painted, like, not talking about the inside of her, I'm talking about when we get her finished out external paint job done, she's going to look super freaking sweet. And she's not going to look like an old 77 RV, which is she looks like right now. She definitely looks like an old 77 RV on the outside. Inside of her, we're really making leaps and bounds. Oh my God. Get off me. So if it wasn't so expensive, I would be going there. You're home. Yay, Yosef's back home. But yeah, so I have to say, you know, between my cousin and his amazing, amazing kindness yesterday and everything that we both are going through this past week, his amazing words, his support, his like excitement, like he was so excited about the RV and how we're doing this whole move into it. Like, you can see it in his eyes, like it's something he would love to be able to do himself. Pizza and hot wings. Oh. Like, he doesn't want to do something like that full time, but he would love to have like an RV to go camping with and take their kids and stuff to go do stuff. I can see that being something he loves hunting and fishing, right? Ooh, honey barbecue wings. Ooh, those are even better. Like, I love hot wings, but honey barbecue wings? Yes. My cousin is just one of those people that he loves outdoors. He loves fishing and whatnot, but he also is a homebody. So if he could have an RV where he could just be feeling like he's in his own little, like his own little space, but yet still get to get out and do those things, he would. But yeah, he was just like, he's like, this is amazing. When he first saw the RV, the very first time he saw the RV, it was all wood panel inside, right? And I had all that map stuff stuck to the wall, and none of that had been stripped yet. The bathroom was so dark, like you couldn't see in there. Like, it was just this dark abyss. He got to go in yesterday and see the full-on white paint, everything standing out. By the way, it really, really is white as hell. Almost right now, too white. It's almost blinding white. Yosef, stop it. Oh my God, stop it. Like, seriously. Thank you. Yosef keeps donating. Stop it. Funny part is we won't even see those until we hit the $100 mark before Google even pays that out. So it will definitely add up. Thank you. My hair is driving me nuts, you guys, but I have it down today because I have a really bad headache. So I think it's just because I did a lot of crying yesterday and today. But yesterday I cried a lot last night. No, you're awesome. I cried a lot holding on to Danny last night. Really struggling with myself on whether or not to keep her. I really did. Like, I struggled so hard trying to decide, was it the right decision? And you know, like sometimes you question your decisions, like you sit back and you just go, is this the right thing? But then the minute you think of, no, it's just better if we give her to someone else, or give, like, this was my thought process last night. Every single time I said the best thing for her is probably for her to be with someone else, I got physically ill. Like, it physically made me feel ill at the thought that her not being around me. Like something in your gut. It's just something in your gut tells you that's the wrong decision. I don't know if any of you have ever had that, where like they call it intuition, where you're just like, you sit down and you're trying to make a decision, or like say you're going house hunting, right? And you find this one house and it's a little bit on the cheaper side, right? It's definitely cheaper. And you find this other house and it's a little more expensive. But the more expensive one has the things you actually need in it, right? But the cheaper one would fit your budget better. Okay? But you look at it and you go, I need these things. Need them. Not want them, but I need these things so that I can survive. Yeah, exactly. I know that. Constantly keep trying, right? Don't ever give up. But you look at it and you say, this one though is out of our budget. But this one over here says that I have to give up several things, even though it's going to fit in my budget. So you start thinking, which one do you go with, right? Which one's going to make it work? And you say, my budget says I have to go here. But the minute I think of going here because that's going to fit my budget, you physically start to get ill, because you know that you're giving up things. It could be pets. It could be like us, the RV. You'd have to give those things up completely to afford to live. Or you go with the other one, which is just out of your budget. And you say, okay, this one's out of my budget, but I can have my pets there. I can have my RV parked there. And this is just from my perspective, right? From my situation. So that would mean I need to go purposely now take on extra work, right? So that means now I'm going to lose some time in this area because I need to do this more so that we can afford and up our budget to afford this place. And then you sit back and you go, but if I do that, then I'm going to miss out on doing these other things. But if I take this here, I have to give these things up completely to afford to stay there. Now you've given up the things that absolutely make you happy or that are super important to you, but you'll be able to afford to live. It is the most gut-wrenching feeling, right? Your intuition kicks in, and your intuition tells you which way to go. So if it was up to us right now and I was able to take a property, and if I had the money right now to put a down payment on said property, we would. But we don't have the money right now to put the down payment on the property. So we have to wait a few weeks and then we'll be able to do that. But it also means that that property means that I'm going to have to take on a part-time job, which is already something I'm going to be able to do because I called a ex-employer and I'll be able to do that, which is a-okay with me. But that just means having to take some time away from a couple of other things that I wanted to do. But it'll only be short term while we are finishing my case with the VA and our settlement. So once that's all taken care of, I won't have to work that second position. I'll be able to take that off the table and continue forward. But knowing that, a lot. So sitting down with Danny last night was a struggle. And I struggled. But then I got up this morning after making my decision last night and bawling my eyes out and crying over whether or not this was the right choice. I woke up this morning to get her out to go to the bathroom, and she immediately rushed up to me like, good morning. I got the best kisses this morning. The best kisses this morning. between her and Tonks, I got smothered. Um, and picked her up to take her outside, and she does, I'm going to have to show you guys what she does. But she hugs me and squeezes me. Winnie Bear? What about Winnie? Winnie Bear is Sarah's dog. So I took Danny in my arms, and she just hugged the crap out of me. I took her outside, and she went out there, rushed around for a little bit, went potty. And I thought to myself, I made the right choice. It was like, I just knew. Yes, Danny was the one that was named, that was dubbed Aspen. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Absolutely, Jeffrey. What is that? I think it's Kamala. Yes, Danny is the one that was named Aspen during fostering. And after a long thought process last night, and my cousin adopting Rainy, I'm not sure what they've named her yet, or if they're keeping Rainy. I'm almost certain they're not keeping Rainy. The name. I'm pretty sure he's changing her name. But fosters usually always get a name through the fostering process, so that when you talk to people about them, they have personality, and it gives them, versus just calling them puppy. But once you finalize the adoption process, then you give them their permanent name. And Aspen's name has been changed to Denali, so Danny for short. And I was talking with my cousin last night, and when he picked up Rainy, and if you guys had been in the room when the whole thing happened, they were already interested in Rainy to begin with, because they really enjoyed her colors, but they wanted a more spunky kind of outgoing dog, and that's Rainy. She's very, very like, go get 'em, full of excitement, where Danny's a little more kind of mellow and chill. She's very spunky at times, but for the most part, she would rather just be like in my lap or laying next to me or relaxed, which is a perfect fit for an RV, honestly. Yes, and that was one of the, that's somebody said, that's exactly what my cousin said to me last night. When they were here, we brought the puppies out to them, and I tried to hand at the time Aspen, but Danny over to Clara, and my cousin is Tanner, Clara is his fiance. I tried to hand Danny over to her, and Danny flipped her lid. She started crying, panicking, tried to climb out of Clara's arms, and so Clara handed her back to me, and she immediately did her little hug me, bury her face in my neck. Like, she literally hugs around my shoulders here, and she buries her head always to my left, buries her head like in my hair, and whimpered. And I hugged her, and I was like, "It's okay, baby. What's the matter?" And Clara just went, "You can't get rid of that dog. You can't. Like, she loves you. That dog loves you. That's like a toddler." She's like, and she picks up her daughter, because they have a 4-year-old. And she picks up her daughter, and she goes, "That's like as if though I tried to hand, my daughter off to someone. That would be the reaction she would have. She is attached to you." Sorry, my dogs are, Godric's losing it outside. So I was like, I said, well, with everything that's going on and whatnot, and I already explained this earlier, with everything that's going on, I'm not exactly sure if it's the right thing. I'm not exactly sure. We've already done a couple live streams on here with how the RV is starting to look. There is a lot of space in there now. So if you've missed the previous videos, go check them out. There is a huge area. We removed an entire internal component of the RV to open up a whole one side of the RV is now completely open for the dogs to have space. Yeah, you can rewatch. The live stream was just a couple days ago. I filmed that one, which was not yesterday, but the day before. And then I did another one prior to that, while the benches and stuff were still in place. And you can see the very big difference that it is now. Plus, I took pictures of the RV when we first got her, and I'll be doing pictures also of the RV once we're finished setting it up. We're definitely not even close to all the paint and stuff that we want done in there. But right now we're kind of going for just get the kind of essential spaces done, and we'll go from like finish the renovation a little bit further down. Yeah, and that's kind of the cool part. Like, and my cousin made a very good point. I shouldn't say my cousin. My cousin's fiance made a really good point, and she said, "You had already planned to take Penny with you, right? Like Penny was supposed to be your dog that was coming with you guys, with you and Tonks." And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "So what difference is it between Tonks and Penny and Tonks and at the time her name, we called her Aspen. And so between Tonks and Danny, none. Like there wouldn't be any difference there because we had already intended to have 2 dogs in the RV, right? The 2 big dogs plus Winnie Bear while Sarah's there." So they made a really good valid point of we had already intended to have Penny with us, and we don't have Penny, sadly. He was, and one of them between his friend and his friend's roommate, somebody wasn't watching Godric. And Godric tore a massive hole in the apartment carpet. And the landlord told him that he cannot stay. So we will find out today here. We're waiting for a phone call back whether or not these other people are going to be able to take Godric. They think he's absolutely stunning. They think he's a great dog. And he wouldn't have to worry about not having somebody with him. The people that would have him would be able to have him always with somebody. Well, yeah, I would never let them take him to the pound. I told them they have to bring him back here if it didn't work out. So he cannot, and I know a lot of people are going to bash us for it, but you know what? It isn't their life. He cannot go in the RV with us. And I explained this earlier in today's vlog, or in today's live stream. Godric cannot go with us in the RV. 1, he barks a lot. 2, I would be out working, so I cannot leave him unattended in the RV. He's destructive. There's no space in the RV to put a kennel, so we will not be putting a kennel in there. Therefore, we cannot have him in the RV unattended. He is, like I said, we would probably lose a mattress or something. He is destructive. He would chew probably the corners of the counters. We can't have that, or the cabinetry. Can't have that. 2, if we left him in there, it is a smaller space. He would bark the entire time. If anybody knows RVs are very thin-walled. He is a very loud barker. It would be a disruption to the other people within the RV park. So, that being said, he cannot go with us in the RV. It's all around bad for everybody. For him, for us, for the people that will be parked next to. Just can't happen. So, with fingers crossed, he will be with a new home tonight. But that's just, we just have to cross our fingers that that's how that's going to go. I really hope it doesn't come down to where we are down at the last minute and we have to take him to the shelter. I really don't want that for him. But he can't go with us to the RV park. Like it literally is that simple. We cannot take him to the RV park. We can't even have him in the RV. We did a test run in the RV and every noise. Yeah. Oh, because we're going to be parked up at a actual place, you're hooked up to electricity and stuff, and we have an air conditioning unit. So during the summer, we do have AC, and we do have a heater. So during the colder months, we have the heater, and then during the summer months, we have an actual air conditioning unit. And the cool part is, we have a small RV, and we actually have a pretty large air conditioner. The person who had it before us, he installed a larger air conditioner on this instead of the smaller standard one that came with it. So he upgraded the size of the air conditioning unit because of how hot it gets out here. So we're on the luckier side because we have the large AC unit. And it kicks butt. So yeah, it will freeze you out of there. So you set the thermostat on it like you would any house, because we have a thermostat, central air control, and you just set that. And so if we're not in there, the pups will be fine. And of course, like I said, we're hooked up to electricity at the RV park. So you're hooked up to electricity and water, which is really good. So we're actually completely hooked up to the two main essentials that run the RV. And then the RV has a 25-gallon, and that's through the wall of a house. Be right back. And break my butt. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, Godric is obnoxious. Not even kidding. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I already have one of those placard things that goes on the window that states live animals. So yeah. Yeah, Godric is, and not only that, do you hear how loud his bark is through closed doors and went like through walls and windows of a house? Yeah, that's our pest control guy. He's coming out to do our monthly spray, which I hate the fact that we're even paying for that for another month, because this is our last month paying for it. Like we already paid for it through the length of our thing. And that's Danny having a fit because she wants, I'll go get her. You guys, she's huge, by the way. She's only 8 weeks old and she's 15 pounds. I'll show you guys. What, Danny? You want to come say hi to everybody? Danny? Come here, big girl. Come here. Come here. Here you are. All right. Come here. What you doing? What you doing? What, love? What, love? What, love? Oh, okay. What, love? Oh, my goodness. What? Oh, what, baby? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yes, Danny's a good girl. Who's a good girl? Oh, what's that say? Oh, sweet girl. She knows there's somebody here and she thinks I'm giving her away. I'm not giving you away, lovey. It's okay. I'm not giving you up. Godric, enough. I'm not giving you to nobody. I promise. I promise. Oh, don't cry. Don't cry. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, my goodness. I know. I know. See, look at, everybody wants to say hi to this pretty girl. You want to say hi to everybody? Huh? You want to say hi? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Did you say uh-huh? Yeah. Oh, oh, big yawn. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi, big ears. Look at these big old floppy ears. Look at these. Mommy's girl. Is your mommy girl? Yeah. She's huge, by the way. I'm not giving you away, I promise. Yeah, nobody's taking my baby. Yeah, we're not giving you up. Look at this little Labrador face. Look at this Labrador face. Look at that big old labby face. Yeah. Yeah. Look at those speckles. You see her spots? Look at her ear spots, you guys. Like, seriously, these are like the cutest thing. Yeah. You want me to get you a bowl of food? Would you like some food right now? Yeah? Would you like some food? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she knows there's somebody in the yard and she's losing it. She does not want to go with anybody else. I know, baby. Like, literally, she's huge. And then there's her big old butt spot. So she got her big old booty spot. Oh, your big old booty spot. Oh, my goodness. Would you like some food, ma'am? Let me go get her a bowl of food real quick, guys. Give me a second. Oh, my goodness. She's huge. Like, oh. This is an 8-week-old puppy. How are you 8 weeks? Say hi, I'm cute. Look at those spots. Is that you? Do you see you on the camera? Do you see you on the camera? Okay, let me go get you your food. Put you in here so you can eat. Hold on, let me go get it, okay? Hold on, stay. Let me go grab your food bowl. Hold on. Godric, enough. There you go. There you go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's the food bowl. Oh no. Oh my goodness. He's going to do that the whole time the guy's here, by the way. Oh. Yeah, she's like, don't let him take me away. She's huge. Godric, please. Oh my gosh. And we deal with that when he's not, like, right now he's kenneled because otherwise he would be literally going crazy at the door. So, yeah, just the other day I took the dog door out. And the only reason why I did that is because I'm preparing us for living in the RV. We won't have the dog door. So we have to make sure that Tonks and Winnie Bear remember to tell us that they have to go to the bathroom, which they're both really good at. So we're Danny is easy to do because she whimpers when she's got to go potty. So we're able to take her outside. But we want to get, because so far Tonks and Winnie Bear have been so used to just having the dog door for such an extended length of time that they have gotten used to just not saying anything, that they've got to go, and they just go out the dog door. So we want them to get in the habit again of saying, hey, gotta go potty. But yeah. Sorry, you guys. That is the reason we cannot. Thank you. That is the reason why we can't have him in the RV. If he hears people in the trailer next to us, that's what we're going to be listening to the entire time. Yeah. So any noise outside of our unit would be the result. So there's your answer as to why Godric can't go with us. And as any of you know, in an RV park, people usually are relaxing and sitting outside, have their little table set up outside, because of course you want to extend your living space outdoors when you're living in small quarters, which is what we will be doing as well. The cool part is we have this really big tent. which I almost sold a couple months ago. I'm glad I didn't, because it's going to get set up outside, and our little outdoor table and chairs is going to go inside of it. So we're going to have like this outdoor area for us to kind of, and I hate that. I'm sorry, guys. I keep adjusting my shirt. But we're going to have this outdoor area for us to kind of chill out in. To, you know, even during the summer, because it'll be tented, so it'll be shaded. But it is going to be awesome because we'll have an outdoor area to just chill out and eat. And also zip it so that way we're not exposed to all the bugs. We actually have 2 tents. I have one that's a little bit smaller, and then we have the really big one, which is going to be our outdoor kind of chill out space. Is that yummy? Yeah? Is it yummy, Danny? I've been saying her new name a lot. So if you guys hear me say Danny a lot, it's because we're teaching her the new name. She's so flipping cute. She says she's munching. Leave her alone. She's eating her food. And she talks, by the way. Like once she's like all full and she's tired and she wants to go to sleep, she'll sit next to me and I'll talk to her and she talks to me. It's super funny. She does this whole it's so funny. It's literally hilarious. Yeah, she's actually eating, so I'll show you. Are you eating your food, Danny? Yeah, she says, I'm eating right now. Are you eating your food? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. I'll let you be. But yeah, so she's munching right now. And if you guys saw my doll in the background, the one that I painted forever ago, that is Eleanor, the doll that I painted, gosh, 4 years ago? 4 years ago. Yeah, right before we moved into this house. The Christmas before we moved in here was when I made that doll. So I have a nice little space in the RV that she's going to get tucked away in and stay there. So we won't be putting her in storage. It's too risky to put her in storage. So because they have to be, you know, you have to dust them and put like powder on the vinyl and stuff like that so it doesn't get all jacked up. So she'll be with us in the RV, and Sarah's bringing just one of her dolls in the RV. So that way, she's already rehoming her other dolls that she's chose to rehome. That was her decision, not mine. So she's only bringing her one baby with her. It's like her favorite one, the one that she did the most work on and now is absolutely in love with it. So I love watching when she's done eating. It is the cutest thing. If you've ever had puppies and you finish feeding them, they have like the roundest bellies. And Danny will have the biggest, roundest belly when she's done, and it's going to be the cutest thing. By the way, I'm never buying this flavor again. It's watermelon citrus. It literally tastes like someone took watermelons and cucumbers and blended them together. I like watermelon and I like cucumbers. Does not taste good mixed together. It's not supposed to be cucumber. It's watermelon citrus. What citrus they're referring to, I don't know, because it does not taste like any citrus. It just tastes like somebody took watermelons and cucumbers and blended them together. I'm like, when you smell it, it smells like a cucumber. It tastes so bad, but I was like, I'm not one to waste money, and we bought these, so it's the last one. I'm gonna drink it. As horrible as it tastes, I'm gonna drink it. But anyway, I probably should get off here and get a hold of my friend Chad, who's coming over to help me put the water tank in, find out what time he's heading up here. I know we weren't gonna do it till afternoon-wise because we wanted it to be warmer outside because it was way too cold to try to do anything this morning. Our fingers would have been frozen. Good girl. Good girl. You eat your nummies. You're a good girl. Yeah. You're so good. Yeah, I know. Finish eating your nummies, and then we'll let you back outside. I'll have to go out there and make sure he secured the fence right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eat those nums. She just pulled her bowl across the thing. Oh, boy. Okay, guys. I'm going to get off here. Thank you guys for letting me, like, offload and vent and express like where I was when I started this morning. What did you dump your bowl over for? No, goofball. Now it's all over the bed. Okay, you can just I'm leaving it like that. You can eat it right there. She picked her whole bowl up and dumped it upside down. She literally just picked it up and dumped the whole bowl upside down. Okay, so I just removed the bowl. Thank you guys, though, for letting me, like, when I started filming today, when I started sitting down to live stream with you guys today, I was very overwhelmed. I felt very ill. My anxiety was through the ceiling. I woke up in a very panicked state today. I think it just, everything finally is like catching up with everything that's happened the past week. And I needed to breathe and like talk it out, like talk through it. And I do better when I can talk through a situation, because then I can hear the situation and start to come up with ideas and start to make those wheels turn. And having people to soundboard off of that can give like constructive criticism or constructive feedback back to me is super, super helpful. And so I know after my long night last night and making the decision and finally coming to a solid choice this morning, that was one big load off of my mind, and knowing that it was the right choice makes me happy. But now just have to move forward from there and figure the rest of things out. So biggest step now is, one, we got to get the water tank in. That's getting done today. And then this weekend, the biggest thing this weekend is Sarah and I have to go through everything we have in the house and do a yard sale. Because yard sales are awesome, for one. Two, we just need to do the yard sale and get this stuff out of here. So that way we know exactly what amount of stuff we're taking into storage. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I know that the big bed, my big queen bed, is going to be going into storage. One, because I just bought this thing and I really enjoy it. And when we get another place, which we're hoping to do within the next couple of months, I'm gonna need my bed. So, because you can't use the one that's the RV one that I'm using for the RV, because that's meant specifically for like an RV space. So it wouldn't do me any good in an actual living situation. So we're going to put this bed in storage, Sarah's bedroom bed in storage, and then our brand new shelving units that I just bought are going to go in storage, and then 2 of the TVs. The one that goes in Sarah's room and the one that will as part of my computer setup. The other TV is going in the RV. And then I think that's pretty much it. Like big furniture wise. Everything else we're getting rid of. Like furniture wise, we're getting rid of. Like we're gonna sell the dresser, probably sell the futon. Just the futon base though. The mattress is actually the futon mattress we're taking into the RV. It's coming with us. Yeah, no doubt, right? So we're going to sell the futon base, because you can always get like a mattress for that. And then we're going to pretty much sell like anything large furniture wise that we're not keeping. So the desk I'm getting rid of, because I'll just get a new desk. This desk it's had its better days, let's just say. So I'm going to sell the desk. I'm going to sell the futon. I'm going to sell our big dresser. I have these smaller ones here. I'm not sure. I think we may keep these 2 small, like the thing you're sitting on right now, because these can go in the RV up by my bed as drawers for our clothing or whatever. They'd be great storage space. So we may just keep these to put up there. I'll know tonight when I go out and actually do the measurement, but I'm pretty sure these guys will be going in there. So, oh my God, my face itches. So, all right. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I've got things I got to get done. We don't have much more time. Today is the 6th. We've got until the 4th of March, which, if you guys know, this is And I forgot, this is a leap year, which means we have 29 days of February, not 28. Ma'am. Danny, what are you doing? She's like, I have to throw it everywhere. Don't you know anything? Don't you know anything about being a puppy? Gotta make messes, because that's fun. Yeah, I know. You gotta eat, though. You got a lot of food there to finish. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. I love you all. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to be live streaming a lot more going through this process. It makes me feel really good to be able to talk it out and be around you guys. So we'll see you guys then. Bye.